Warning! This video is a part of the Nostalgia Review series, in which I review games that I have nostalgia for. If you are easily upset by sexual, racial, or generally offensive humor, I suggest you leave now. This show is not made for children. Without further ado, get ready for Nostalgia Review Episode 1, Super Mario 64, or How I Discovered Sex. Okay, Google. Time to find out what naughty thing I'm gonna look at today. Oh hey, how's it going? I didn't see you there. Should have said something before you came in here. Couple more seconds and you were about to see something you probably didn't want to see, if you know what I'm saying. You know, speaking of situations like this, kind of reminds me of the time when I walked in on something I didn't want to see. Let's just say I found out about the birds and the bees a little bit early. It's okay. I was 4 years old. It wasn't traumatizing at all. It's fine. I'll tell you what though. Something else I discovered about the same time was, well, a video game that's really special to my heart. I remember it like it was yesterday. It all happened on a cliched Christmas morning. Outside, the weather was cold enough to make one's fingers go numb, but inside was warm and glowing like a belly full of rum. This was my fourth Christmas and I was enraptured with my gifts. But hark, a disturbance in the house caused a rift. As I played around, I heard a strange noise, but I knew for certain it couldn't have been one of my toys. Quick as thought, I bolted up the stairs. Something was amiss. I was highly aware. At the door I listened, confusion abound. As it opened I discovered my parents fucking, the source of the sound. And that's how I discovered Super Mario 64. And the birds and the bees. But we'll blow past that. You know, I haven't played Super Mario 64 in a long time, but now that I've been monologuing about it, I'm kind of feeling a little nostalgic, you know? Feeling a little something up here in my heart. I know this is overdone, but, you wanna take a trip down memory lane? I kind of want to take a trip down memory lane. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. This is a nostalgia review of Super Mario 64. Before we get started, though, first, the history. The year was 1996 and I was but a child. 3D was a relatively new thing. 3 new systems existed in the mainstream market: the Sega Saturn, the Sony PlayStation, and the Nintendo 64. I wanted a PlayStation, but my mom thought it was too adult of a game system, and I didn't even know the Saturn existed until I was a teenager. So, on Christmas Day, the N64 is what I got, with the launch title, Super Mario 64. This thing blew me away. From being able to change Mario's face on the title screen, to being able to run wherever you wanted on the playing field, to the pure fact that it was third-dimensional. And it wasn't just third-dimensional in appearance like Crash Bandicoot or Klonoa. It was true third-dimensional. See, the Nintendo 64 wasn't like the other 3D consoles of the time, with their 2D style controllers. This was the Sega Saturn controller. It used a D-pad for its 3D games. Lame. This was the PlayStation controller. It just had this uncomfortable 4-button pad for some reason. Now this right here, this is the Nintendo 64 controller. That's right. True 8-directional 360-degree movement. And because of the analog control stick, it had a subtleness others just didn't have. Did you want to make your character walk? Push that stick just a little bit. Want to make the character jog? Push it moderately. Do you want to make your character run as fast as possible? Push it all the way. If developers wanted any kind of speed control on the other consoles, they had to assign a button that changes speed on the controller, just like on the older 2D systems. Archaic as fuck. Super Mario 64 was designed around this thing, and compared to other games of its time, movement feels pretty damn good, as does the moveset. The majority of established moves in modern Mario games come from this one. You can jump consecutively while running up to 3 times, and if you pull that off successfully, you do a special jump that takes you higher than any other move can. In addition, you could wall jump, allowing you to scale up areas you wouldn't be able to otherwise. Even the long jump got started in this game. You can also punch if you stand still or walk slowly, but honestly, it's relatively useless. Well, that's the story. Now I guess it's time to start the game up and see what we got on our hands. Once you start up a new file, you get this nice cinematic of Princess Peach reading off her letter to Mario. He's been invited over for cake. A warp pipe pops out of the ground and boom, it's a Mario time. When you go up to the bridge, a Lakitu holding a camera greets you.
Be careful, it's a trap!
No. Actually, in this game, because the concept of a moving camera on a 3D playing field was so new, they found a way to integrate it into the story. You're being filmed by a neutral Lakitu who has no loyalty to Bowser. And since he's a character, you can accept that he only has so much space to move around to film you. So sometimes it gets stuck on walls and things like that. Not a bad touch. I appreciate the effort. Once you get past that, you're immediately greeted by Bowser telling you to scram. Usually, Bowser steals Peach and sets up shop in some far-off land. This time, he's taken over home base, and it's up to us to take it back so we can smash some cake. No, not that kind of cake, you perverts. This game is rated E for everyone. Anyway, as you go inside, you'll immediately notice a toad stuck to a wall and several doors with numbered stars on them. Now, what you're supposed to do is talk to the toad to find out that Bowser has trapped them inside the walls and blocked off entrance to the doors until you collect enough power stars to get through. Here's the thing. I couldn't read. Like I said, I was only 4 years old. So, for a good while, I kept running up against the doors and getting frustrated I couldn't go inside until finally I went over to the door with no number on it. That's when I discovered the first painting leading to Bob-omb Battlefield. So as it turns out, somehow Bowser has turned the paintings into magical teleportation devices to other worlds, which means maps. There's 15 in total, separated by 3 levels in the castle. You can basically think of the first floor of the castle as the easy levels, the basement and back courtyard as the medium levels, and the upper floor as the hard levels. In each map, there are several stars total. 6 you get through completing some kind of objective, and 1 you'll get by collecting 100 coins. Typically, when you collect a star, it boots you out of the map, but for whatever reason, the 100 coin star doesn't. You just keep on trekking. I've heard people complain about the 100 coin star, but I'm not really sure why. One of the stars you get on each map is by collecting 8 red coins, so just clump the 100 coin star with the 8 red coin star and you're golden. On the first floor, you have to beat a boss for the first star on each map, after which changes the layout of the map to make it easier to get more stars. You beat the Bob-omb King to unlock cannons, you beat the Womp to unlock a tower, you make this eel move to get inside a sunken ship and cause the ship to rise to the surface, and in a reverse scenario, you go down the slide to make a penguin boss appear to race for the second star on its respective map. I like the idea of this, but these bosses, they can even be called that, are pretty easy. Outside of racing the penguin, I don't know if this game would devalue in losing them. Outside of those first stars, the maps don't undergo any reconstruction, so the game is pretty non-linear. There is an order to the listing of the stars, and you won't be able to choose a ladder star to get the hint line for it before you get an earlier star, but the stars are there in the map nonetheless, and there's nothing stopping you from exploring and discovering them on your own. I like all the maps on the first floor, but I have to give 2 special shoutouts. First, to Cool Cool Mountain. I love the snow aesthetic, and I love racing the big penguin, and let's be honest, anyone who's played this has dropped this baby penguin off the edge of the map at least one time. The second shout out has to go to Dire Dire Docks. Usually, I'm not a fan of water levels in video games, but this is an absolute exception. A huge part of that is the music. Oh, the music. The track itself is beautiful, but I love how intricate it is for a video game. You have the initial simple track as you start on land. But once you dive into the water, the track becomes more complex. And once you enter into the underground cave, the music transforms once again. There's something so magical about it that I bothered to learn it on the piano. I don't even play the piano, so that's saying something. At this point, I think it's worthwhile to bring up another convention Super Mario 64 utilized. I don't know if it's the first game ever to do this, but it definitely became more popular after this game. Backtracking. There are a rare few stars you can obtain when you first come across them, such as on Bob-omb Battlefield. You see this red area over here? This becomes solid when you hit the red switch, which becomes available after you collect 10 stars. Once you hit the switch, you can start using the wing cap, allowing you to fly and collect that last star in Bob-omb Battlefield. There are 3 caps in total: the wing cap, the invisible cap, which makes you transparent and allows you to go through certain walls, and the metal cap, which turns you into Metal Mario, making you heavy and able to walk underwater. And since I brought that up, let me just say this fucking thing right here is a fucking red herring. Yeah, you think this is here so you can jump in the cannon and blast your way to the middle of the map and grab this star, but no. No matter how many times I tried, I never succeeded in doing that. That's because what you're actually supposed to do is get the metal cap in the underground cavern to get this star. Took me way too long to figure this out, and I mean even now, as an adult, replaying it. You got me this time, Mr. Miyamoto. Now once you get 8 stars, you're ready to go through the big star door. Now this was one of the only games that my mom really liked, let alone approved of. And so she got really good at it. In fact, she got to the Big Star door before I did. Unfortunately, she also decided to get through the Big Star door right when it was my bedtime. Here's how that went down.
Son, it's time for you to go to bed.
But Dad, Mom is about to go through the Big Star door.
I know, son, but it's time for you to go to bed.
Can I just get 2 more minutes, Dad? Just to see what it is?
I said no. Don't make me ask you again.
But Dad...
I said no!
Ah! Mom! Mom, help me! I'm getting rug burns! Help! Oh, I'm getting rug burns! Oh, God, it hurts, Mommy!
Did I just hear you take God's name in vain?
Oh, no, Mommy! Oh, he's breaking out the belt! Oh, Mom, no! Daddy, no! It hurts so bad, oh, dear God! Please, no!
I love that once you go through, all you see is this red carpeted hallway leading up to a painting of Princess Peach. As you move forward, it starts to change into Bowser. The closer you get, the more it changes, until finally you fall through a trapdoor. It's the kind of thing I don't really think about now, but as a kid this really got me. Nintendo putting on those little touches that make a game shine a little bit more. Once you fall in, Bowser taunts you once again and that chilling organ music plays. God, I love it so much. Once you get through the level, you finally fight the big guy himself, King Bowser. At first it seems intimidating, but all you have to do is grab him by the tail and throw him against a spiked bomb. One time and he explodes into a key, which you use to go down into the basement. The basement and back courtyard have 5 maps: Big Boo's Haunt, Hazy Maze Cave, Lethal Lava Land, and Shifting Sand Land. Now since I had gotten every star possible up to this point, I was actually able to open the Big Star door immediately, get the first star off the submarine in Dire Dire Dock, and beat Bowser the second time. After that, I ran into this motherfucker. Fuck this bunny. He actually appears 2 times, and each time you have to chase him through these halls and catch him. Come on. Fuck. Come on. I'm gonna get you. Come on, you little piece. Come on. Ah, finally. Jesus. When you finally get the bunny, he gives you a power star. Now why a random ass bunny has a power star in the first place, I don't know. My 2 favorite maps in the basement have to be Shifting Sand Land and Lethal Lava Land. Both maps have an internal and external area, so to speak. Lethal Lava Land has a volcano you can jump into that becomes its own map once inside, and the same is true for the giant pyramid in Shifting Sand Land. If you die in the pyramid or volcano, when you re-enter the painting, that's where you start from. I also thought it was really cool that the Shifting Sand Land painting blends in with the walls. Makes it feel like a secret and gives it a Dark Souls feeling. Super Mario 64 is the Dark Souls of platformers. Nah, just kidding. After getting as many stars from the basement as I could, I ground pounded these 2 pillars and drained the water from the moat, allowing me to get the invisibility cap. After that, I used the key to go upstairs. This is where the game starts to get on the difficult side. The paintings up here are much more unique in that how you enter the paintings affects the maps that they contain. There's a toad that tells you this, but again, first time I played this, I was 4 years old, so I had to figure it out for myself, which actually made it a lot more cool. How high you jump into the wet-dry world determines how high the water level is starting out. There's a star you can only get if you jump at the highest point. Tiny Huge Island has 2 separate paintings, one tiny and one huge. Go into the big one and you'll come out small. Enter the small one and you come out big. Tick-tock clock's clock is constantly moving. What time it tells when you enter changes whether the gears inside the clock move quickly, slowly, or not at all. Finally, Snowman's Land is hidden in the same way Shifting Sand was, except this time you see the painting in the reflection of a mirror, as well as the Lakitu filming you. Can I just say, fuck Rainbow Road. This level and Tick-tock Clock are the reasons I didn't beat the game 100% back when I was a kid, because these maps are fucking hard. They're also both far more linear than the other maps. Tick-tock Clock is just a climb to the top, and getting to the top is pretty freaking difficult. Meanwhile, Rainbow Road is just a slog of waiting on magic carpets to mosey on their way along. That means it takes a long time regardless of what you do, and if you fall to your doom before you get to the star, well, fuck you. You gotta start that slow elevator ride all over again. But once you finally have gotten all the stars in the maps, you're well on your way to beating Bowser for the last time. However, you'll notice this only adds up to 105 stars. What about the other 15? Those are the secret ones. 3 are red coin stars on the Bowser maps, 3 are red coin stars on the special cat maps, 2 are got by catching that fucking bunny, and the other 7 are found in secret areas around the castle, like by the fish tanks or the slide found through the peach stained glass mural. Well, this has been a fun trip down nostalgia lane. It's been really accomplishing to get all 150 power stars, but all good things must come to an end. I think it's about time we wrap this review up, take on the final challenge. Time to beat Bowser. For real.
The third time you face Bowser, he's all rainbowish and eerie organ music plays. The stakes are high this time. You also have to throw him onto the spikes 3 times. Usually I cheese my way through by making multiple light tosses toward the spikes, but after the second one, Bowser stomps his feet and half the course comes crashing down, leaving only a star shape and no more opportunity for cheese. This is it.
Come on, come on. I can do it. I can do it. Come on, I can do it! Yes! Alright, what do we get for finally completing this game?
Oh, well, I guess it's just slightly varied dialogue from normal. Bowser says there's more stars than he thought there was. That's pretty much it. After the credits, the cannon outside that was locked up before is free. You can use it to blast up to the top of the castle to find Yoshi, who gives you 120 free lives. After you don't really need them anymore. And the penguin you beat before put on some pounds, so he's more of a challenge now, I guess.
Well, I guess this is about the part where most reviewers would give some kind of numeric rating to the video game. But I don't think I'm going to do that. See, art in video games are subjective, but to apply a number is to imply some kind of objectivity. But I don't think any kind of formal review is going to take away from the subjectivity of a video game. So with that in mind, would I recommend this game to somebody today? Well, it's hard to say. For today's standards, the video game controls are kinda stiff. I think it would be hard for somebody who's used to today's buttery smooth controls to get used to. And admittedly, if you're used to modern day graphics, Super Mario 64 is a little hard to look at. But if you don't mind those things, if you're okay with understanding this is a 90s video game, then yeah, I would say I'd recommend it. Either way, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.